Hello, fellow doodlers. From pencil, pen, paint, digital, or any other mediums, how's your day so far? Mine's been great. Have you ever looked at a talented artist's work online and instantly known it was theirs before even checking the username? Like, damn, their style is just that recognizable. If you saw one of their drawings out in the wild, you'd probably know immediately who made it. And we see this not only among individual artists, big studios like Disney, Ghibli, or Sony also became iconic because of how distinct their styles were, especially in their early years. But then you start wondering, what about me? Is my style recognizable enough? Is my style truly my own, or is it just a copy of someone else's? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that question is perfect for today's video, which is all about stylization. Now, before we begin, just a quick disclaimer. Everything I'll be talking about in this video are purely based on my own preferences and experiences, so feel free to follow any of this advice or don't. It's completely up to you. And if you have your own opinions or experiences about this topic, do feel free to share them in the comments below, respectfully and kindly, of course. So, here's a quick rundown for today's video. I'll be talking about 5 main topics, mainly being foundation, inspiration, experimentation, preferred process, and enjoyment. So, now without further ado, let's begin with foundation. Right off the bat, your style needs a foundation. And yes, here come the fundamentals, the basics. All that stuff you've probably heard 1,000 times before already. You know the saying, learn the rules before you break them? Now I know this topic can be pretty argumentative, but personally, I think learning the fundamentals is extremely important when it comes to stylization. Stylization isn't ruleless. Even if your art isn't realistic, it still has to feel and look right. But no, I am not saying that you need to master realism or become some anatomy god before you're allowed to stylize your work. What I'm trying to say is that you should at least have an understanding of the basics. Things like where shadows should go, the general structure of the face, the shape of the skull, color emphasis, basic anatomy, and overall visual balance. You don't need to perfect these things, you just need enough understanding of them for your stylization to feel intentional, not mistakes masked as a style. Because fundamentals are something you'll keep using forever. Once you've learned them, you don't really forget them completely, even if you stop actively practicing them. They become a part of you, and it will show through your work. No matter how stylized your art becomes, they'll always be there as something you can rely on and return to. And once you have the basics, your journey will eventually lead you to want to improve them further and learn the more advanced stuff. So go learn your fundamentals. They're very important. Now moving on to inspiration. Because obviously fundamentals alone aren't enough. Otherwise this video would have ended like 2 minutes ago. I think almost all artists start here. We see another artist we admire and think, wow, I wish I had their style. I wish I was that unique. And honestly, you can achieve something similar, but with a twist. There's this thing called the visual library, where just by looking at something, especially one that inspires you, can let you replicate and mold that knowledge into something more original, something more like you. The trick into efficiently using this visual library is to not copy everything completely. Instead, study what specifically attracts you to that work. Is it the way they do lighting, the way they shade, the way they draw eyes, their colors, their compositions? Take the elements you genuinely love from different artists, then stitch them together into something new, like a Frankenstein monster but in a less gross way. Looking at something that pushes you to do something similar is extremely helpful, especially if you want to build motivation. and are looking to do something unique for yourself, like, I don't know, an art style, don't stress yourself out with replicating. It's not a bad thing, it's actually a very, very helpful. Having a lot of inspiration forces your brain to combine them, mold them, stretch them, and experiment with them. Speaking of experiments, experimentation. Once you've gathered your inspirations from different places, you don't just stop there. Nuh-uh. If you feel like you've gone far, push even further. Add your own touches. Maybe your favorite artist uses saturated colors, but you want even more saturation. Then go ahead and crank it up to eye-bleeding levels and see what happens, specifically to yours and your viewers' eyes. Experiment with everything. Push ideas too far. Make ugly art. Make weird art. See what actually feels right to you. Because finding your style is not a linear process. It's messy. It's trial and error. It takes time. Do not rush the process. No one is chasing you, right? Sometimes you discover amazing things completely by accidents that wouldn't have happened if you didn't explore, if you didn't try them out. Don't be afraid to jump from art style to art style. Don't be afraid to not settle in one art style yet. Remember, you're not in a hurry. In fact, I think making so much haste to find your art style will actually make you feel stuck so early when you're supposed to still be exploring. Look at my art style. If you've been here for a while, first of all, thank you so much. And second of all, you must have already seen the changes in my style. I went from this very smooth looking art style to a more anime one. And I know that I'm still not done yet. I still currently am trying out different art styles, and recently I've created my very first pixel art, and I've been wanting to do some more. I just haven't gotten the motivation yet. Maybe I should watch my video about motivation. Wink, wink. But here's the thing after all of that. Stylization is still about individuality, and because of that, your style can't come entirely from external sources. At some point, the final touches, the things that truly make your art feel like you, have to come from within yourself. And that leads perfectly into my last 2 points: preferred process and enjoyment. Now, while it's definitely possible to create something unique by combining inspiration from different artists, I think what truly completes a style is the artist behind it. Your habits, your preferences, your mindset, your personality. And one of the biggest examples of that is your process. Personally, I like my art process to happen in stages. I'm the type of person who struggles with multitasking, so I prefer focusing on one thing at a time instead of jumping all over the place. I like to make my process organized. So, if you've seen my art before, you probably noticed that I like finishing my sketches almost completely before moving on. Sometimes they get so detailed that they almost look like finished illustrations by themselves. After that, I move on to line art, then colors, then rendering, and finally the finishing touches, filters, highlights, random colors that I add just because I like them, and many more. Those stages usually don't overlap for me. Of course, sometimes I have to go back because I forgot something in a previous stage. That still happens, but ideally, I like to keep everything separated because it makes the entire process feel cleaner and more organized in my head. And even when I experiment with different styles, which I currently am, that preference for structure still shows in my workflow. That organized, stage by stage approach is just naturally a part of me now. And honestly, I don't just work this way because it's effective. I also genuinely enjoy it. For me, the process itself feels therapeutic, which brings me to my final point. The thing that I always talk about in almost all of my videos: enjoyment. Stylization is self expression. It shouldn't feel restrictive, it should feel freeing. It should feel like freedom from all the pressure created by rules, perfectionism, and strict fundamentals. So don't choose a style just because it's trendy or because everybody else is doing it. Sometimes, the weirder, the better. You're not hurting anyone by having a weird art style. Take your time, don't rush. I once was in a rush of finding my own art style because I have social media accounts and I wanted to be recognized for my work. But even though not completely, I am trying to grow out of that mindset. Now I actually stick with an art style for a bit. Then when I get bored of it or some aspects is just not working for me, I move on to the next art style. Because I know that my art style is already within me. No matter how much you copy other people's work, it will still be stained by your touch. It's like that one Sabrina Carpenter song where it goes, I heard you'll be together, and if that's you, you'll just have to taste me. You know, you get my point. That one song, it's like something, something like that. But even though you are trying to find your own art style, why not have multiple? Most people don't recommend this, and honestly, I also think it can be a pretty thin line, but if you know how to balance things out, I'm sure you'll be fine. I won't expand on this too much, I just wanted to have it out there. But, anyways, as my final point, choose a style because you enjoy it, not because other people enjoy it. Because at the end of the day, it's your art style. So, let it look like you. Well, that's all for today. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and I genuinely hope you were able to take something from it that can help you out in your own art journey. Also, before I say goodbye, I would like to apologize for all of the animal noises. I did not notice them while I was recording and I only heard them now when I'm actually editing the video and I'm just too tired to re-record it again. I am so sorry. My home is full of animals. You name it. Cats, dogs, chickens, goats. Actually, that's it. But you get the point. I'm so sorry. I can't just put a duct tape over their mouths. I'm just kidding. I won't. I won't do anything like that. Anyways, I can't just make them shut up. So, um, again, I apologize for all those noises. But otherwise, again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Keep doodling.